Alright, everybody, let's finish off the Blair Witch trilogy with 2016's The Blair Witch, directed by Adam Wingard, which, when I first saw this film announced, I'm pretty sure the title for it was The Woods, or Into the Woods. Pretty sure it's The Woods. And I was very excited just seeing Wingard attached to this because I love Your Next and I love The Guest, which are two movies I definitely got to do on here soon because I need to rewatch those because I absolutely adore those movies. But when I saw Wingard was attached, I said, all right, I can get into this. I love Adam Wingard. And then they revealed that it was the third Blair Witch movie, which if you saw my video on the Blair Witch Project, you know my feelings on that. And you know my feelings on Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. So when I saw the trailer for this, which I hate seeing trailers, like I don't watch trailers, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before on this channel. I just like going into movies completely blind, just so I can form my own opinion before I hear anybody else's or see a single thing about the movie or anything like that. But I saw the trailer unknowingly, like it just popped up on like a YouTube search or something, and found out that it was a Blair Witch movie. And I said, all right, well, let's see where they can go with this. And for me, this movie's fine. It's nothing great. I don't dislike it. It's there. Like, there's things I like about it, and there's things I don't like about it. Pretty much just like with the first Blair Witch. But at least some stuff happens in this movie. But it's your pretty standard fare found footage movie, which I was kind of disappointed on when I first saw this. I've only seen this twice, when it first came out and today. That's pretty much it. Like, I've never seen it besides that. And we have the characters, they're not bad. Like, I like most of the characters in this. Ashley's a good character. The hell's the main girl's name? Lisa, that's it. I really like Lisa. James, the brother of Heather, he does a good job through this. That was the other guy's name, Peter. I like Peter. He makes me laugh like a decent amount in this movie. Then we have the weird couple, Lane and Talia, who cool characters, and I like what they did with throwing them in, like to kind of like fuck with expectations of exactly what's going on. But we'll get into that. So James is Heather's brother who gets sent a YouTube video online and sees this whole like scenario play out in the house that his sister Heather was presumably killed in the first Blair Witch Project. And we see somebody running up the stairs, and then he rewinds it and says, and you can see this reflection, this figure in the mirror, and he thinks it's his sister Heather that's still alive, which just the whole premise of this is what the first movie took place in 94, right? And they found it a year later, so 95. So from 2004 to 2000, so like 22 years or so, he thinks his sister is still living out in those woods. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just that whole premise. But it is a clever way just to get people out into the woods again. Like I said in the last video for Book of Shadows, like, I think that was a big thing with the expectations for that sequel, was that people were expecting just the same thing as the first one, of kids out in the woods again and having crazy shit happen, and didn't work for like 95% of people who saw Blair Witch 2 and hated it. But for this third one, we're back in the woods, and I think that was a good idea to get them out there, of that having to play into the first movie, and this is Heather's younger brother and everything, and he never gave up hope on what happened to her, and he's hoping that he can lead this trail from this video that he got and try to find closure for what happened to Heather, to his sister. So it's a nice little premise off the bat, even if it is ridiculous, like just thinking that she's still going to be out there after this amount of time. But they go out into the woods, and then they meet up with Lane and Talia, who are just, they're locals. They've been around in Burkittsville their whole lives, hearing these stories of the Blair Witch and the Rustin Parr story and Coffin Rock and everything like that. Which, when he's like talking to them as they're like walking into the woods, he says that like there's things that like old people don't want to talk about. in this town. And then like after his, meaning James's sister, and her crew disappeared and everything, that was something they just wanted to forget. And then he's like, there's a lot of things that the old timers don't want to talk about here. That, Coffin Rock, Russ and Parr, the list goes on and on. That's pretty much the list, right? Like right then and there. Like what happened with Heather and Josh and Mike, the Russ and Parr incident, and Coffin Rock. That's pretty much all we know about like the history and stuff. So I'd love to hear the on and ons that are on this list that Lane is talking about, because it seems like he just named everything right then and there, and then just said the list keeps going. But we never get to hear any of that, so I don't know what else happened. Peter's laugh when they're walking into like where the Black Hills like officially start, and like I forget, I think it's Ashley says like, can we get in trouble for trespassing and stuff, because Lane says like it's the state's property now and everything, and nobody cares, nobody comes down this way. And then he's like, yeah, nobody will care, no one who's alive. Then Peter just starts cracking up hysterically laughing, and I didn't even realize he was laughing because I cracked up hysterically laughing. And then I just looked at the TV and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, he started laughing too, right? I had to rewind it and just see that he cracked up. I said, all right, good. There's somebody else who thinks like me out there. Fucking the way he said that though, just like no one alive. Like he says it's so dramatic and so over the top that like it's like, really, he just said that? And then just to find out that Peter is laughing like that also. And then they go to the spot that they supposedly found the DV tape and everything of Heather supposedly on camera in the reflection. And the sounds that they hear the first night, like when they camp out for the first night, is like a 20 out of 10 compared to what they hear the first night in the Blair Witch Project. Like we don't even hear what they hear the first night. We just have Josh describing it as like cackling and stuff, which surprisingly they don't get up to document that shit in the middle of the night. But the noises they hear on the first night here, like it almost sounds like there was an earthquake, like the fucking like the seismic shift in the fucking earth moved, like something happened, like you can hear the sounds. Like, so this shit starts off like flying, like right off the bat compared to the first movie. And then we find out that Lane is missing, and James goes to talk to Talia and try to look for him and everything, which, dude, these are two people that you don't know from Adam, that you're in the middle of these creepy ass woods with. And now the guy's missing, and now the girlfriend wants you to go follow her into the woods. There's no fucking way, man. Are you serious? Like, nobody thought of that. Nobody thought that this could be just some crazy local couple that now that they got you out here in the woods, they're just gonna fucking rob you or fucking murder you, or who knows, man. I'm not going out in the woods with that fucking girl. Are you kidding me? While her fucking boyfriend is missing? Get the hell out of here. And then they end up finding him, and Lane saying that he heard all noises and stuff, and he went to try to look for the noises and stuff without documenting it or anything. I don't know. They're all supposed to be doing that, aren't they? Like documenting shit. And then what a fucking asshole that Lane and Talia are, that they wake up the next morning and there's fucking the stick figures and everything hanging there, and freaks everybody out and gives fucking James hope that there's some validity to this Blair Witch thing, that there's some hope that his sister is still out there. And he has it for a little bit until they find the rope in Lane's backpack and judge it again, you know, show it against the stick figure and find out it's the same exact rope, and they admit they faked it and everything. Fuck you. Like, seriously? Like, they had to really do that to this person, to James, and put him through that? That's so fucked up, man. Giving somebody hope that he's something, you might get some type of answer for the disappearance of your sister, and it's just them being fucking assholes. Even though that, like, they say that they faked those, but like they couldn't have, you know, made everybody wake up at 2 in the afternoon and oversleep that long, which one of them comes out with a good fucking rebuttal saying that, yeah, you could have fucking drugged us with sleeping pills, which is exactly where my mind would be at. And I'd be like, yeah, there's no way you can fake that. Well, you could have fucking drugged us, like, for sure. Like, just love how they added that little rebuttal in. I think it was Ashley who says that, right? cool little stuff that they put in there, and just like that whole inclusion of them in general, the whole inclusion of Lane and Talia, of just not knowing if they're causing noises in the woods or they're fucking with them, or if it's the actual witch or it's the woods themselves, or on and on, like you, what have you. But just the inclusion of them, to have two people that you don't trust and that this group doesn't trust, especially fucking Peter. Peter can't stand Lane, man. Like he's ready to kill this guy at like every chance that he gets. And then we get a little homage to the first movie about them turning around, getting turned around while they're walking one day and ending up right back where they started at the campsite, which I said in the video for the first movie would have me bugging. Like, just go walking with backpacks and heavy shit all day and be walking around and be fucking cold, and if it's raining, wet and dirty and all that shit, and then you've been walking all day and you're right back where you started. Fuck that, man. Like, that is so not right. That fucks with somebody's head bad. And then Ashley's foot with the cut on it and everything, when Peter goes to check her foot and he takes the bandage off and everything, and then like it just like bulges like something's inside her foot. That's a cool little inclusion. That's just fucking nasty. And I love how like this happens in so many movies, but like when the character sees something that they know 100% is not normal, like a fucking thing swimming around in her cut and bulging it out, and then they always just calm them down by saying like, no, it looks fine, like it's getting better and stuff. Then they go out and have to talk to like the person who's like knows the most about the situation, like a doctor or EMT, like James was and everything, and then be like, yo, dude, something's fucked up. Like I saw like a muscle spasm, dude. You saw something like try to punch its way out of your girlfriend's foot. Like they always underreact. They always never explain things the best way that they could be explained. Like I don't know. It's just I hate when that happens in movies. Like, if that was me and I was looking at her foot and it fucking moved like that, I'd be like, what the fuck is in your foot, man? Like, immediately. But never happens in movies. Like, you don't see the true reaction. Then Peter goes out. No, before that, the drone. When the drone flies up in the air and then it malfunctions and falls into the tree. I just feel like that was a whole wasted opportunity. The whole thing with the drone. Like, they could have, I mean, I don't know what they could have done with it. Like, it's just another camera. It's just one in the air. So if you like flying cameras, I guess you can get a cool shot or two with that. But like, just the whole point of like having this set like almost 20 years after the first movie came out and all the technological advancements that we've had. I mean, again, flying cameras. So it's not like we've had huge developments in like photography and stuff. But like, it's like, to me, it's like the same thing as if they brought out like, and they made mention of like, oh, we got this $5,000 new camera. It's the M93,100. Fucking like something, some stupid name like for a brand new camera, and just making a lot of attention to that. Then just having it break and then never being used or utilized in any meaningful way or anything. Like, that's how the drone functioned in this. Like, they introduce the drone, we think, all right, that'll come into play a little bit, and then it just fucking breaks, and that's it. Like, that's all we see of the drone. We see Ashley stupidly climb up into the tree a little later on to get this drone that's not working to begin with, and at this point they're all just running around the woods because crazy supernatural shit's happened already. So I don't even know why she wants the drone. I don't know, but I feel like the whole thing with the drone was just completely wasted. Like, there was no point in even having a drone. Just to get broken? Like, it could have just been any other camera. I don't know. Like, that's my take on it. And then, this is a creepy scene when fucking Lane and Talia show up. And they ask them, they say like, you know, when's the last time you saw us? And they said, we saw you earlier this afternoon. And Lane said it's been 5 days since they saw each other. And like, Lane's freaking out and he's like, yeah, they're dead already. Like, they're never getting out of here. I will. And he storms off and everything. That's a great scene. Just for them, like, foreshadowing that like, this is a loop they get stuck in, I guess. Like, kind of like how Blair Witch 2 like unfolds. Like, once like, you spend the night out there, and they mention that in this movie too. And once you spend the night in the woods, that's when she starts fucking with you. Or the woods start messing with you, or what have you, whatever it is. So just seeing that the cycle for them, for Elaine and Tasia, started before it did for the main group. I don't know. It's cool. It's like a cool idea to explore. So like it doesn't happen to everybody at the same time. Like it depends on I have no idea what, but like just the whole idea that there's two groups. Well, one's like a half a group or whatever. That there's two groups of people going through the same witch fuckery, but on different like different timelines and stuff. Like almost like they're in their own little like pocket dimensions, kind of. And then like the sun doesn't come up, which that's fucking terrifying, dude. Like when she wakes up the next morning, Lisa and James, and she set the alarm for 7 o'clock, and there's no sun. Like that's fucking terrifying. Like I said that in my Grave Encounters video. And Grave Encounters is one of my favorite found footage movies of all time. And just for that movie, which I wonder if they got this from that movie. I mean, it's not the first movie to have, daytime with no sun. But it feels very, very similar, like to Grave Encounters. How the sun never comes up and they're stuck in this abandoned asylum in the dark, even though it should be bright out. Like it has that same type of feel to it. And then they go back outside and they see stickmen again, like a bunch more than there were, like with the fake ones and the rock piles and everything. There's some tension to that. Like it's pretty well done. Like that's why I said like this movie, nothing great or anything, but at least some cool stuff happens throughout for me. So like it makes it semi-enjoyable. It's not a movie I'd rush out to go see again or like throw on whenever it's on TV or if it's like next up in a queue and say, all right, cool, the Blair Witch 2016, so I can strap in, it's time. Like, no, but it's decent. Oh man, like when Ashley breaks the stickman that has Tasia's hair in it, and then she breaks the stick, and then like Talia's, I keep saying Tasia, right? It's Talia. Talia's fucking back breaks like a voodoo doll. That's just awesome. Like that's probably my favorite scene in this movie, like by far. That is like it was so unexpected. Like when I rewatched this tonight, like this was like a brand new watch. Like I said, I haven't seen this movie since it came out, and I don't even remember much from it except for aliens. I'll get to that, but like I didn't remember that scene at all. So from her yelling at her, Ashley yelling and everything, and then fucking snapping that stick, and then Talia fucking just falls backwards like Suspiria remake style, like when the bones are crunching in directions they shouldn't go. Like awesome stuff, really really cool. And then the tents go flying into the air and everything. And they all start running around. And then we get that shit with Ashley's cut with the fucking pus coming out of her leg and everything. That's so fucking nasty, dude. I hate that type of shit. That's why I go see Brain Dead or Dead Alive, Peter Jackson's zombie masterpiece with all the fucking pus and nasty shit in that movie. Yeah, then I said Ashley climbing up the tree for the drone. That's so stupid. Like, I really don't know why they even included that. Just to add, like, closure to the whole drone thing that never got a payoff to begin with, I guess. And then something grabs her hand and she falls to the ground and then gets dragged away. Cool. I mean, if I see one more person get dragged out of view of a camera in a found footage movie, I'm going to go fucking insane. Like, or just a door slam on its own in a haunted house movie. Like, there's certain things that just have to never be used again in movies. But then we get the house at the end, same. I don't know if it's the exact same house they used in the first one. Like I forgot what happened to that house that they shot at, but it looks very similar. Like it looks very similar. Like I'm sure it was just built on a sound stage or something like that, but it looks really good. But we have the camera distortion, which I hate this in so many found footage movies. Like even Grave Encounters, which I say is one of my favorite found footage movies, utilizes this too, and it bothers me then. Just like distortion on the camera, like in all of these movies, like especially when shit's actually happening, but they make the camera distort or static and stuff like that to like conceal what's happening. That's such a fucking bullshit cop out. That's such a cop out in all of these movies. Like, if you want to show something in your found footage movie, show it. If you don't show it. Don't half show shit and put fake static or distortion on the camera. That's so annoying. It's such a pet peeve of mine in the genre. It really has to just go away, like forever. Like, I can't stand that. Why does James think a midget is Heather? Like, we see this small child and stuff like run around like 2-3 times in this house, and every time that we catch a glimpse of it for a second, he calls out Heather, thinking that's Heather. Like, the way that it's edited, like, it looks like he sees this child for a split second when he turns in that direction, but then he just starts calling Heather. I don't know, did he think that she shrunk to half her size, like, the last 20 years out here? Like, I don't know what that's about, but it's fucking weird. Like, it would have made more sense if you just, hello, like, hello, who's there? Not like Heather. Like, we know it's not Heather, it's a fucking little child midget. Then after a while, Lisa finally goes into the house. Like, I don't know what the hell was taking her so long, like, standing out there in the woods all by herself. Then she goes into the basement, and we see Lane, like an old, like, scruffy version of Lane, saying that you have to listen to what the witch tells you, and he throws her down into this hole, which turns into like a drainage ditch or a drain pipe. And that whole scene, awesome. Very well done. Like, you could feel the claustrophobia that this girl's feeling just from watching the movie, just from seeing that scene. And that's gotta suck, dude. Like fucking crawling through a drainage pipe or whatever that is, and then getting stuck at one point. Just picture that. Like, you're stuck underground and you can't get out. Like, that's gotta suck so bad, man. That's so fucking freaky. I would be losing my shit down there. Then she finally, but that whole scene with her being stuck in there and then making herself breathe and calming herself down and everything, very well done. Very good stuff. Then she gets out and she kills Lane. Then aliens show up. I don't know. There's just a fucking. That's the first thing I thought when I first saw this movie. When the lights, like, surround the fucking house, looks like a fucking UFO or a spacecraft taking off. So the Blair Witch is an alien. Either that or fucking a xenomorph or E.T. were having a party together. They decided to stop back home to Earth and check things out. But I don't know what that means. Is that just the woods coming alive, or the woods making their presence known, or something like that? Because I really don't think it's aliens, even though that's what I first thought of when I saw it. Then they go in, James and Lisa meet up with each other, and it looks just like, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks just like the footage that James gets at the very beginning. That he, like, when the girl runs, you see the camera running into that room and locking the lock on the door and everything. And that's what Lisa did. So is that trying to say that this is Lisa's footage, or the footage on one of those cameras that was sent to James in the very beginning? Like the whole, like, time loop type thing? Because it looks exactly like that footage, with her running up the stairs and passing the mirror and then going up and into the door, into the room and locking the door. So it looks just like that footage. So I don't know if that was just like a intended thing, like that's what it's supposed to be. That this is just like the woods has always had their number, was always going to call them out there, and that was the woods' way of getting them out there, by sending future footage of them being out there back. Like, I don't know, like it seems like that, the way that, like, they shot that last scene of her going into the room, making it look just like the video at the beginning. But I don't know, I've never read up on theories for this movie or anything, but if anyone has a theory, let me know. And then James and Lisa staring into the corners and saying that if you don't, which we learned in this movie, if you don't look at the Blair Witch, then she can't do anything, you have to look at her. And they're both, dude, I mean, if all you have to do is not look, like, that's it, like, that's all you have to do, was just not look. These two people can't not look at something for more than a few minutes. Like, I can guarantee you, like, I would have lasted at least a few hours. Like, it's not hard to not look at something. And, like, I get that, like, James is in his corner and he hears Heather and stuff, so he turns. But, like, you don't think at that point that this fucking witch that's, like, at this point is absolutely made itself known to you that something's not right. You don't think that it could trick you into looking at it by, like, using a loved one's voice, which is what it does to both of them? I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like it would have taken a little bit more to get me curious to be looking anywhere other than where the two walls meet together for that corner, like where no witch is. I don't know. Now then he turns around after hearing Heather's voice, or what he thinks is Heather's voice, and turns around. He gets knocked out dead. So he's gone. And Lisa tries to leave, and she's trying to use the camera to, like, back herself out of the room and everything. And then same thing. She hears James repeat the thing that he just said of, like, things are going to be all right, or whatever he says. And then she thinks it's James, and she turns around and looks, and then she's killed. It's all right. Like I said, it's I enjoy it. This is only on the second watch, but I'm sure it'll probably fall into that same category that the first one does for me. Of just, like, it's fine. I know it happens, and that's it. Like, nothing special, nothing terrible or anything, but it's enjoyable to a certain degree. Like, just having a little bit extra stuff, like, sprinkled onto the lore and, like, the stories and the legend and everything behind the Blair Witch and Rustin Parr and all that type of stuff. I feel like they should have went even further into that, like, into all the mythos and everything, like everything that they could have explored. But hey, loving one out of these three movies is, even if it's the one that's hated by, like, 95% of everybody who loves this franchise, I'll take that. But hopefully these videos will be up by Sunday. I'm hoping to get this Wi-Fi fixed. Hopefully it's up. If not, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. I'm busy. I'm not busy, which sucks. I can't stand fucking Wi-Fi. I can't stand YouTube. Like, issues everywhere with these fucking things. But they'll be up when they're up. And I'm gonna do Jeepers Creepers 1 through 3. I have Get Out that I have to do, and Orphan for Whole Orphan's First Kill that we're getting soon. So those will be coming soon. And all right, I will see you guys soon. Take care.